Welcome to another edition of Len's Burning Bush. I am Len Harvey. And before I bring on my guest for the week, I want to talk about what's really burning my bush. So let me say pretty clear, no one cares about what your wordle score is. And even if we even knew what this was all about, we still would not care. Have you seen this new thing now on Facebook and Twitter where people show their scores, etc.? Well, apparently this is a real thing. Yes, it is a real thing and is making someone some money. So I figured I would do a little digging to find out a little bit more for people that don't understand what this Wordle thing is. Now, the sudden hit Wordle, in which once a day players get 6 chances to guess a 5-letter word. Why you need 6 chances? I don't know. Again, haven't played it, don't want to play it, not really interested. But apparently, this has been acquired by the New York Times. Yes, the paper of record, the New York Times, when papers were, I guess, a thing. But the purchase announced by the Times on Monday reflects the growing importance of games like crosswords, which they've been doing for years, spelling bee, in the company's quest to increase digital subscriptions to 10 million by 2025 because people are not subscribing to the paper anymore. So they're getting all kinds of other stuff. Now, Wordle was acquired from its creator, Josh Wardle. That's Wardle. He was a software engineer in Brooklyn. Of course, he's made a hefty sum of more than almost, 7 figures, low 7 figures for this. That's not too shabby. Now, the company said that the game would initially remain free. Of course, it's not going to remain free. We all know that. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, they say it's going to remain free, and that means you're going to have to start paying for it. And then, of course, no one would be doing their scores. But again, it says that it would remain free for new and existing players. Wordle, the name is a cheeky pun on its creator's name, Wordle. So had some striking rise. Now, apparently, it appeared as a no-frills, ad-free website back in October and had about 90 users as of November 1st. But get this, now over 300,000 people in the middle of the month, and now millions play the game daily. That's according to the New York Times. So it's not that everyone is playing this game, but the feature which enables users to share their performance with the rows of 5 bricks indicated how close they were to guessing the correct word. For many of us that don't understand it like me, here's how it works. And again, I'm going to do this for you. A green brick indicates that the letter is correct and the exact location. Now, a yellow brick indicates that the letter appears in the word, but in a different place. And a gray or black brick indicates that the letter does not appear anywhere in the word. I don't know about you guys, but I'm out. I mean, this is way too much for me. But you get one chance to put those hints to good use. You could try the performance and guess the word of the day in 3, 2, or even 1 and go. Simple stuff, but it's incredibly compelling for people. So is it just a word game? Well, big deal. Yeah, it's just a word game, but super popular. As I mentioned, over 300,000 people plus play it every day. So that popularity may sound perplexing, but they're tiny little details that result in everybody going bonkers for this Wordle game. So one person that could care less about this, and I'm not sure about my guest, but it is definitely me, because I really could care less about this. With that being said, it's time to bring on my guest for the week. He is making his second appearance on the show. He last appeared way back in episode 22, and that was the Positive News Network episode back in September of 2020, and that way back when. And he's a news reporter extraordinaire at 1010 Wins in New York. Longtime friend Glenn Schuck will appear on Len's Burning Bush. And Glenn, let me see if I can get you up on the big screen. And Glenn, how are you?
Nice to see you.
It's nice to see you. Look at this. We're commiserating via the streaming thing now. You got all kinds of craziness. We don't just have to talk on the telephone anymore. We have all these great things, and now we're seeing each other live via stream. And of course, you could be watching this on YouTube, and make sure you're subscribed, whatever that craziness is. But what is your opinion of this Wordle nonsense?
Well, I have to say, you didn't tell me what your subject of the day was, and it's ironic because I've been talking to people about this nonstop for days. I may be switching my opinion on it, and you may not be happy with that. Initially, I kept thinking, I see my other news colleagues doing this morning, noon, and night when they're working, and I'm thinking to myself, maybe I'm just an old man. I'm like, should you be doing this when you're working? nonstop. I keep seeing this coming posted on Facebook or Twitter as we're all at news stories. These other reporters are doing wordle. I'm thinking there's got to be something about this that's really interesting, and I have never done it. I kind of get how it's done. I've never done it, and I probably won't. But in listening to you, I think maybe I'm easing it back a little. Again, I'm not going to do it, Len, but I think we've gone through a lot of weird times, tough times of stress and COVID, and some people on unemployment. Unfortunately, maybe somebody was sick. Maybe this is just a nice way for people to pass the time. And I have to say, it's better than a lot of the stuff that's posted on social media in terms of, in terms of anger and bitterness and political stuff. So maybe I'm easing up on this just a little. At first, I was like, come on, do we have anything else better to do? But now I'm thinking, well, I guess there's worse things to be doing.
Absolutely. And I have no problem with the game. Not at all. Do what you do. I always say, be you, do what you do. I just don't need to see it every minute that your score is. I don't care every day that you've hit this score or you've made this thing. Again, I don't care. You do what you do. I don't need to know about it. Okay. That's my point, is I don't need to see all these people posting every day. We got celebrities doing it too. And it's just driving me. I am the curmudgeon on the lawn. Get off my lawn. But I have no problem with people doing it for their therapy. I mean, we all need something to do, like you said, but I don't need to see it like every day with your scores, right? Do we need that? It's just, craziness.
Well, I guess people want us to write back and say, hey, you're awesome, or yeah, good job.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. I guess people are looking for a pat on the back, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I agree with you. I see a name and it pops up and
I didn't know what it was. So,
and I'm like, okay. I don't know what to say, but congratulations to you. Right. Exactly.
And as a reporter, I wanted to understand like what it was. So I did some research, right? I did what I need to do. I'm still out. I'm not playing it, but I understand maybe this is why people, they get excited over. There was Words with Friends for a while. We had all these nonsense, right? That was another thing where didn't Alec Baldwin get thrown off an airplane for playing Words with Friends or something like that? Didn't he get, I mean, there was another, there's so many different games that we've played. There's the Angry Birds, right? Didn't we have that? And we had all these other nonsense stuff. So people love it. I don't know. I barely play any of the, I still have an old Atari 2600 that I bought, and I have some games that I play on that. So I want to go back to 1979, you know what I'm saying, and play all these old games. But
well, it's a phase. This is probably just another phase. I mean, are we going to hear about this 6 months from now? I would tend to think maybe not. So
no, I would agree with you. Another, not phase, but another scores, and we've got the Winter Olympics now, and I'm just trying to figure out if I care anymore. I know that Bob Costas has come out and say, he, unfortunately, his friends over at NBC are having some issues because of all the challenges. And, he said, many of my friends and colleagues at NBC have been dealt the worst hand imaginable, Costas told the New York Times, from the lack of spectators due to China's COVID-19 restrictions. I don't know. As I get older, the Olympics is one of those things. I did an episode about the Summer Olympics. If it was held in my backyard, I would close the shades and tell them to turn the lights off when they were done. Now, winter is a little bit more exciting. I love the hockey. I used to like the speed skating, but again, I don't know what it is about me, but I pick and choose my sports now, and Olympics I'm not that excited about.
So you don't watch curling?
No, I don't. I don't want to watch curling.
It's funny too. You or I are, well, we were both around the same age. I'm a little older than you. I remember though, growing up, even high school into college, I wouldn't miss a minute of the Olympics. I mean,
I'm with you. I was the same way. And nothing better than the 1980 Olympic hockey. And I think maybe, and I talked about this on, one of my episodes as well, maybe I peaked so much at the 80 Olympics and maybe 84. We had such great things that it just started to take a trend during the whole Tanya Harding thing. That's kind of when it went downhill for me. Like after that, I really didn't care anymore. But it could be because as a kid, we cared more than we do now.
Well, yeah, I guess maybe we have more time. But on top of that, too, I mean, I was pretty psyched to watch the hockey, too. But the NHL players are not involved, right? So
I don't know. Yeah,
I don't think they are. So that kind of took it out for me. It's like I was kind of jazzed to see that. But I flipped it on a couple times in the last couple days when it first started just to get a glimpse. I haven't really watched more than 5 minutes of it. So
No, I haven't even watched 5 minutes. You've got me beat. But the Olympics is on, and you can apparently watch it for the next couple of weeks if you do like that. But one thing that we are going to watch, and that is the Super Bowl. I would imagine you're going to watch the Super Bowl, right?
Oh yeah.
And the Cincinnati Bengals, the home team here in northern Kentucky, Cincinnati area, has made it to the Super Bowl for the first time since long before Moses parted the Red Sea, it seemed. The 1989, 1990 Super Bowl, right? That was Boomer Esiason, and then the famous drive by Montana to go down the field, right?
Yep.
I think.
So how big is the buzz about Joe Burrow out there? Is he like the man?
It is fantastic. Matter of fact, I have a story that is funny you bring that up. He is such a great guy. He's originally from Ohio. I don't know if you know that, but Joe Burrow is doing everything he can to make everybody like him. He's very hard not to like, right?
Mm-hmm.
So after last Sunday, quarterback Joe Burrow got a request from one of his childhood idols, Kid Cudi, a rapper Burrow grew up admiring. So I don't know. Do you know Kid Cudi? I think it's Cudi.
Really.
C-U-D. Yeah, I don't know who that is. Again, two old men talking about Kid Cudi, right?
I'm being honest. I don't know.
I have no idea. This is what happens when you go to you watch some of these Grammys now, and you're like, who is this? I remember when I heard The Weeknd, I was like, what was it, Loverboy coming on? What, the Weeknd? Everybody's, I didn't know who that was. But anyway, so Burrow grew up admiring him and congratulated Burrow on taking the Bengals to the Super Bowl and asked him for his game jersey from the overtime victory against Kansas City last week. So it didn't sound like Burrow had given it much thought. On Friday, Cudi tweeted about the exchange and sent a picture of Burrow's grass stain number 9. He said yes and sent it right away. So what a great guy. Joe Burrow sends his jersey out to Cudi. That is amazing. So it's the first conference championship since the 88 season. And it's just kind of amazing, the Bengals. But I want to bring up a point about the Bengals here because I was never a fan of the Bengals. I like another team in the same division. I won't mention that. But I've been liking them for, 40, 50 years. Obviously as an old man, they were great growing up, right? So I would always get upset with these guys because they would just be like that little brother, just kind of, we beat you in a regular season game. That doesn't mean anything, right? Win a postseason game, and that was my big deal. So last Sunday, I went out because after the 2 wins and everything, I figured, what the heck? I'll go out and go with my friends. I had been not going to watch the game outside. I've been watching it inside. But I figured I'll go to a bar and experience it and understand what they're going through. So when the Bengals, it was the end of the game, and they were winning, obviously, and I could see people crying. And I get it now because I've been spoiled as a fan. As a Yankee fan, we had a little bit of a rough patch from 1980 to 1996. We had a little bit of a rough patch recently. But all in all, we're pretty spoiled, Glenn, with the Yankees, right?
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty spoiled with the Steelers even because, they've won 6 Super Bowls and they've done it, and they usually make the playoffs every year. Even this year they stunk, but they still made the playoffs. But my point is you never understand another team's what they're going through actually see it. And I went around and congratulated all of the fans that were in the bar, and I said, this is fantastic. Good for you. Because before I was kind of upset maybe they would win, but now I'm happy. And I'm not saying I'm rooting, heavy. I don't want to ruin it for the fans if they win the Super Bowl, but it would be nice for the city of Cincinnati, which is a great city. I don't know if you've ever been, but
it's a great city, yes.
It is a great city. The Reds have won. The Reds haven't won since 90. Now the Bengals have, so the Bengals have never won the Super Bowl. In 82, they lost again to the 49ers and then again in 1990. But I just don't understand. I didn't understand it before, but now I do. And I am just happy for them because it was just a great thing. And Joe Burrow has come along. He has done a great job. And, he's won more postseason games than most, right? I mean, than Dak Prescott in one postseason.
Well, imagine I'm a Jets fan. How about that? I mean, we haven't won a Super Bowl since 1969. So, I mean,
it
might be the same way.
It is, because I think when the Jets finally do it again, And I don't know. It doesn't look good for.
No.
I still don't see them ever. I mean, they got their quarterback, but is he really the quarterback? He's not. He's not Joe Burrow.
No.
We could see that he's a decent quarterback, but that's the problem. You can't keep getting it wrong over and over again. And the Bengals were always getting it wrong, but they finally have gotten it right. They got Jamar Chase. So kudos to the Bengals for doing it. But if the Jets and the Lions ever get in the Super Bowl, that would be a miracle, right? I was always a thing. If Tom Brady had ever gone to the Lions, that would have been, to me, that's the team he should have went to, right? If he can win with the Lions, then you could say you're greatest of all time nonsense. I don't agree with the greatest of all time stuff anyway, because it's very hard. Because as someone who grew up, we grew up in the late 60s, 70s, and there were some great teams and great players and great, and you watch Joe Montana. Don't you think Joe Montana could have gone to a team today and done what he did and maybe even eclipsed? I mean, if you think about Matthew Stafford and all these guys throwing for close to 5,000 yards, you don't think Joe Montana could have done that?
Oh, totally. Yeah. I mean, I think, when you talk about Brady, that's happened this week too. I mean, I don't think you can dispute probably, though, that he is the greatest. I don't know if he's the greatest football player of all time, but he's the greatest quarterback. I mean,
well,
right? I guess.
I would say the rules have changed. He has done a great job with the rules. You cannot argue with 10 Super Bowls. But my problem with naming the greatest of all time, it maybe should be the greatest of the generation or of the time we're living in now. Because I don't think you could say, I mean, think about it. There's a lot of quarterbacks out there that we're dissing, like Johnny Unitas, or maybe we didn't see him play. Otto Graham, I heard, was really good, right? Never saw him play. There's so many guys that we forget. We're so into the moment that we don't understand that, the rules were different. I mean, you watch some guys throw the ball and you're like, well, Terry Bradshaw did the same thing. He threw the ball like that. I mean, there's a lot of things. Staubach was very good. There, some quarterbacks in that generation. Then you had Montana. And how about this? The Ravens are, obviously they've got a great quarterback and all that, and the running quarterbacks like Mahomes. But did they not see Steve Young play? Steve Young was Mahomes before Mahomes, right?
Yes,
am I missing something?
No, you're right.
If you put Steve Young today on the Kansas City Chiefs and you put him in this set of rules, he might throw for 600 yards and run for 140. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I just think it's.
I'm just happy that it's nice to see some different teams in here. I mean,
yes,
and I'm from New York, so everyone says you're going to pick on the Patriots, who I can't stand anyway. But, but it's nice. It's nice to see that either one of these teams wins. It's going to mean so much for that franchise, right? I mean, you figure Cincinnati, if they win this, my goodness, I mean that changes their franchise for many years, and the Rams too, I guess, right? When was the last time they've been in Super Bowls? But I mean,
Vince Ferragamo,
right,
in 1980, but they also got there recently with Jared Goff. See, that's the thing. They traded everything for Stafford and several other players, but they have, done a good job with this team. Obviously, they went all in. They put their chips in the middle, and you can't blame them. I mean, Stafford's a good quarterback, but if they don't win the Super Bowl, then what did they really gain, right? Jared Goff got him to the Super Bowl also.
So I'm rooting for the Bengals, I think. I can say that. And the funny part is I think the Jets beat them in the regular season this year. So.
Yes, that is crazy. The Jets.
I don't know how that ever happened, but.
Well, that was the Jets. That was when they had that one quarterback that all of a sudden for like 2 weeks was the talk of the town.
White. That's right.
Yeah, White. Yeah. He was the talk of the town, and now we don't even know who he is anymore. It's like, you just go out it's crazy, but we are NFL is one of those week-to-week leagues that every week there's another hot take of someone else who did something good the week before. It is so crazy. It is just, amazing how the NFL works. It is just a machine, a marketing machine that continues to get better and better, but baseball, not so much. And we've had some issues with baseball. Now we have a work stoppage. What do you think about this? I mean, we could see spring training delayed. We could see all this. It's just, to me, greedy owners again, right? Trying to get more money.
The sad part about that is, it's still America's pastime. I love baseball. I love baseball. And it's sad that, the average person I talk to in New York City is going to say the same thing. They're going to say, wait a minute. We went through a pandemic. We had all this on our plate. We can't wait to get back to the game. And now they don't want to play. And their whole, people's issue with athletes is that they just don't get it. For whatever, it certainly doesn't look like spring training is going to happen. And I think they said the drop that, if by March 1st they're not playing spring training games, they're probably not going to play regular season. That would be a terrible shame. I mean, it's just,
it's
there's
awful.
so many other things we need to be worried about. Not that we can't get to a baseball game.
You brought up a great point, though. It is such a great thing to do. So I brought Steven, my son, who turned 21 over the summer, but this was just before his 21st birthday. We went in late July, early August to see the Mets and the Yankees play. They play together. I went to see the Mets on Sunday and the Yankees on Monday. They played the Orioles, and the Yankees, of course, got killed on the day that we went to watch it. But let me tell you, the look, that Visa commercial or MasterCard rather, everything else there's MasterCard. It doesn't matter how much you spend, but when you get to sit in a ballpark, you're having a hot dog, whatever, with your son, and taking him to New York where you grew up, and it's just kind of nice to be able to go to the new Yankee Stadium and the new Citi Field. And we had a great weekend. We did this, and people don't understand baseball. Oh, it's too slow. You know what? No, it's not. It's nice to go to a ball game. There's nothing better in person than a Major League Baseball game. And I could stand on anything like that. And I love hockey in person. Hockey postseason is definitely up there, but a baseball game outdoors on a gorgeous day, there's nothing better. A hot dog and a beer and just sitting there and watching a ball game. I'm sorry, I'm going to miss that. And if they don't do this, who knows? I mean, we could see they might not come back. I mean, they're like the fourth sport now, where they used to be the first sport. So,
yeah, and I feel bad for the younger players too, right? You have younger, there's not many minor league systems now. These young major leaguers want to play, and it's I saw some of that in the Yankees last year with some of the young guys that were trying to make the team, and I hate to see this happen where they miss even a couple of weeks. So fingers crossed that doesn't. But it doesn't look good, right?
No, it does not. The Major League Baseball announced on Friday that it would not accept the owner's request for an independent mediator via the federal.
Why would you not have a mediator? I don't understand that. You don't want it resolved?
Well, Rob Manfred, it's funny. You look at bad commissioners, and Bud Selig was not exactly a great commissioner, but Bud would have not let this happen. And I don't know what's going on with Manfred, but he hasn't done a really good job. That whole Houston thing, he didn't do a good job with that. He is, I don't know if he's afraid to do anything, but he's just not been good.
Well, let's just hope they get it resolved. I mean,
I hope so.
It would be a shame if it's, May something and there's no baseball. It's just, I don't know. It's weird.
Well, like I've been saying, football has done a great job with being able to just, people just talk about the draft. People will move on. And that's the bad part about it. Baseball is such a great sport, but people will move on. If you do not, the old saying, if you build it, they will come. They had such a great thing with the game in Iowa, and they're going to lose all that. It's just, it's terrible. I'm with you. It's crazy. The regular season is supposed to start March 31st, and we are no closer to that. And I don't see that happening. And we survived the 94 work stoppage, but if it wasn't for Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire in 1998, baseball might not have ever come back. That whole home run chase, although we know now that it wasn't legit, but it was great television. It was great theater, right, every night.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm going to get out to Cincinnati eventually. We'll meet you there, and we'll go to a game.
I hope so. I hope we're
like
playing.
Riverfront. It's beautiful there.
I like Bone. It's crazy. So we talked about the greatest of all time, I guess, Tom Brady. It's again, I'm begrudgingly saying that. I think we have to really look at everything, but I will say he's the greatest of this generation. No question about that. So Mark Wahlberg spoke this week with Mark Malkin on Variety, and he talked about the retirement, and he kind of he was thinking about playing Bill Belichick in a movie. Mark Wahlberg, Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, wants to play Bill Belichick in the movie or whatever they're going to do for Tom Brady. Because, there's going to be a Tom Brady. We had a Kurt Warner movie come out this year. There's got to be a Tom Brady movie.
Is there a part for you in that movie is what I'm wondering.
I don't think so. They don't like me. So
I love Mark Wahlberg though.
Yeah, I do too. I actually got, Donnie has been my favorite. I've been watching Blue Bloods, and I love Donnie too. And, you just look at the talent in that family. It's tremendous. But yeah, he wants to play the head coach. Would you think that he'd be good? He was great in that Philadelphia Eagle movie. Vinny, I forget the name of it, what it was called, but it was a Disney movie where he plays the player for the Eagles, the real life player that.
Oh, right. Yes.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I think he would be good. I mean, I think he's really good at. I was never a huge fan of him initially, but I have to say his body of work now. He's actually a really talented guy.
Oh,
I mean, so
absolutely.
yeah,
I would say,
I would
yeah.
like to see that.
Well, of course, being from, Mass, they love the Patriots, the Pats, him and Matt Damon and Ben Affleck and all those guys that are love the Pats. Got to love it, but now we'll see what happens. The Patriots have their quarterback. And again, the Jets are, I guess we're still waiting. I mean, we don't know, right? Is he going to be anything?
Well, the problem with the Jets is, they never have a good supporting cast. I mean, you could put, poor Sam Darnold came in here and he got beat up and then shipped out. And, I hope the same thing doesn't happen for Zach because, if you're not, in football, you think Brady could win a Super Bowl in Tampa if he had the Jets offensive line there? I doubt it.
No, that's what I said. If you can win a Super Bowl with the Jets or Tampa. So any of these quarterbacks that think that they've had a great career, you need to win a Super Bowl with the Jets. And if you do that, if you bring even Brett Favre couldn't bring a playoff, whatever, to the Jets. Remember, he came in for the last year and Boomer tried. They've all tried, right? I mean, the only one that Vinny Testaverde got him close, got him to the AFC Championship game in 1998 against the Broncos, and then they lost, and that was the last of. It's been brutal.
Well, the talk in New York always is, who's going to get there first, the Jets or the Giants? And and the Giants, 10 years ago won the Super Bowl, and it's been pretty much straight downhill for them. So it's amazing. I think probably the Jets are on a faster track than them. But what year that is, I don't know.
I don't know. The Giants really have made some mistakes. They got a whole new crew again, and we'll see how that goes. So why don't we talk?
This is fun talking sports. I like this. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't usually do that. We talk about other stuff. My guests are not always sports fans. I knew you'd appreciate all of this and talking football in New York. And it's like, it reminds me of the days of WFAN. I think the Rangers should trade Mark Messier and WFAN. Hey, long time listener, first time caller. How you doing? That's what I was hoping for. We could do a WFAN kind of deal in New York. Yeah. No, I love it. I think the Giants hopefully will get better. Hopefully we'll have baseball in some time in there. But why don't you give a little bit about what you're doing now? You were covering stories yesterday, and weather was an issue. Why don't you get into what you're doing at 1010 Wins?
Well, actually, and I can share this news on here too. We actually, we've always been the most listened to all news radio in the country, which is really an honor. The first all news radio station in 1965, and in mornings when I work, and I work 4 a.m. till around noon, we're the most listened to morning program in all of New York City, including a lot of this is in the morning in terms of up against some very stiff competition like Elvis Duran or Scott Shannon and many others. So it's we're in a real role right now. We're very, as we talked about in the past, we're very straightforward, no bias on our news reporting, and it seems to pay off in terms of building a base of people who rely on you for the news and without opinion. So New York, I always say it seems like every day there's some kind of story here that becomes a national story, whether it's we lost these 2 young police officers recently. COVID obviously has been pretty devastating for New York and New Jersey, so densely populated. The Omicron was horrible here for a couple of weeks, and now it literally has gone down to nothing in the last week. The cases dropped 90%, I think. So that's good news. Weather issues this time of year, new mayor. So there's a lot going on here.
Now, I always remember 1010 Wins when I was a kid. I always remember, you give us 22 minutes, we'll give you the world, right? Is that still kind of the slogan? Still the slogan. It's the truth. And I think what we are missing on television now is real news. The only news you get now is the local TV stations doing their news, because all these channels, even CNN and Fox and all of these MSNBC, they've gone to these opinion shows, and I can't stand them. I'm like, can't we just read the news anymore? That's all I want is the news. I don't need your opinion. I don't care what way you're leaning. I just want to hear the news, right? What's the stories of the day? And as someone who did radio and did news in the morning, you just want to read the news. Why do I care about your opinion?
I'll let you form your own, right? I mean, that's what we try to do. we in a very quick span, we're very fast moving, weather, traffic, which people want, the top story or two, local story, national story, quick little sports blurb, and then let you form your decision from the news. We're a type of format where people will tune in maybe, 10, 12 minutes. They're not usually listening for an hour. They might come back in an hour and listen again, but we're very it's not even headlines. It's beyond that because we get into more depth than that. And we have some very good reporters, I think, if I may pat myself on the back.
Well,
But,
you're tremendous. You've always been that way. But I think the reason why you guys are so successful is because in this day and age, you cannot find news on television, and radio is still a great source of, you're in the car and you want to hear just a couple of stories. You get to the news, you get to the traffic, get to the weather. What do I got to wear today? Do I need a coat? I mean, those are the type of things that we care about. And I don't care about somebody's opinion on these shows, because if you try to turn on any one of the major networks, it's all about opinions, right? Who did this? Who did what? What's going to happen? Blah, blah, blah. Read the news. Let's hear what it is. Everything's breaking news too. It's always breaking news.
And we're told, obviously all of us have opinions, right? I mean, I do.
Oh, we all do, of course.
Right. We have
I'm on this show. I'm doing this show based on my opinion.
And this is the most opinion I'll give on something like that. And this is fun, but it's, we all have opinions, but, we can't work at 10 wins. If if I go on the air and say, I'm at this protest here in New York City, and boy, these people are really a bunch of, whats and this and that. I can't stand them. And they're Hillary supporters or Trump supporters. I mean, I can't do that. No, that's not my job. I'm reporting what I see, what people are saying to me, what the story is, and let people take it from there. And that's, again, I think that's why we're successful. And we're not allowed to post anything like that on social media about our own opinions on any platform, because my name is associated with the radio station, and just like our other anchors and reporters, we are to not give any opinion. I'm tempted a lot of times, I'm human too, but I don't do it because that's why people trust us.
No, exactly. And I think everybody gets offended over things, and it's the I don't know if you saw this week, but there was a whole to do with Rudy Giuliani appearing on
the Masked Singer.
Masked Singer.
Yes.
And then people walked off, Ken John and Robin Thicke, and they walked off the stage. And I'm like, I know you don't like Rudy Giuliani, but why do you have to walk? Like, why can't we just deal with things? Why do we have to just automatically take your ball and go home and go back to the kid on the playground that just takes his ball and goes home?
Well, I still hope that this may end eventually. I think there are some news outlets, and without naming them, whose ratings have suffered because of constant opinion. Yeah. I think people are getting weary of it. There are always going to be some that want that, who will always go to CNN or always go to Fox or MSNBC. But I think it's you're going to see a reboot here pretty soon. I think people are getting tired of it. And it's proven by the fact that, areas that do non-biased type reporting like ours are doing well in the ratings. So that would, you're in the business for ratings and to make money. So if these stations' ratings start falling, they're going to have to change how they're moving forward. So
good. Well, we could hope that. And like I said, you'll give us 22 minutes. We give you the world, and we give Glenn Schuck, who does a great job on 1010 Wins. Now, how can you, since we're out of the area, so we want to listen to 1010 Wins, how can we do that?
Actually, we're owned now by, if you've heard about the company Odyssey.
Yeah.
So it's and we're doing, and you should mention, you talked about that too, about getting news. Our digital platforms are really what are increasing dramatically. So our Odyssey app, for example, you just go to the Odyssey app, and any Odyssey station, I think we have 126 stations on our company, from 1010 Wins to our sister station, WCBS, to WFAN. You can just go right in there, hit the button, and listen from Australia if you want. So it's kind of fun.
That is a lot of fun. And follow you on Twitter at, give me your Twitter handle so we could put it on there too.
Oh, yeah. It's just at Glenn Schuck, GLENN Same for Instagram.
That's it. You are
do
the
a
man.
lot of the stuff on Twitter though too. And but again, the Odyssey app's pretty cool if you want to check it out. It's a good way to to get your news or your arena, classic rock, this, that, the other thing. We have a lot of good news stations in our company in Los Angeles and Chicago and Boston, Miami. I mean, we try to get all the bases covered. San Francisco too.
Yeah, well, it's all good. It's like the Huey Lewis song.
Yeah, exactly.
San Francisco too. Yeah.
Keep the faith, I always say. I think, the country's been through a lot politically, pandemic, everything else. Let's hope we keep hoping for better days. So,
well, we can only hope for better days, but seeing you and talking to you, Glenn Schuck, is always a treat. And I appreciate you joining. You know, you can like Len's Burning Bush on Facebook at Len's Burning Bush. Follow along at Len's Burning Bush on Twitter. The YouTube channel is up and running as well. We're going to stream. We're streaming this, the video portion. It'll be streamed also on Facebook Live and on Twitter as well at Len's Burning Bush. So follow along on that. You can listen on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, Podbean, iHeartRadio, TuneIn. You can ask Alexa to play Len's Burning Bush podcast, and Amazon Music, as I mentioned, Stitcher, Pandora also. So there's a lot of ways, anywhere you get your podcast, basically. But, you know, it's been a lot of fun doing this. This is episode 96. I'm approaching 100 episodes. I don't know what I'm going to do yet for my big 100th episode coming up on March 5th, I believe, the Saturday.
You better have balloons or cake or something. You know, I mean,
I was thinking I like to eat. Maybe I'll just sit and eat for the 100th episode.
I'll send you a pizza from New York. How about that?
Hey, pizza and bagels. I actually did order. I did order some bagels and lox from like this Gold Belly. You get. It was actually pretty good.
I'll hook you up.
Yeah, hook me up with some things there, Glenn Schuck. It's always a pleasure. Thanks, Glenn Schuck. I'm Len Harvey. We'll be back with another episode of Len's Burning Bush next week. So long.